I'm here to show you a wonderful place. A veritable Camelot, the nuclear age. Not made by God Almighty, but the working man.
You can be a hero by purchasing a residence in a Vault-Tec vault today. Because if the worst should happen tomorrow, the world is going to need you to build a better day after.
So we're going to look at fighting for freedom and democracy, right? That's what President Biden said yesterday in his State of the Union address. He also said America's economy is the envy of the world. I wonder if he's looked at the national debt rate lately and all the huge budget deficits that the United States is running currently and is forecast to keep running, according to the Congressional Budget Office. That while they distract the masses with this concept that they have to keep helping Ukraine and defeat the dictator that Putin is, they're actually stealing your savings. They are indebting your children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. And we're going to look at both all these factors today.
Classic 1980s conservative, which basically means America is always perfect, America is always just. Every war America sticks its fingers into is always perfect and just, and we are the good guys and Russia's the bad guys, and we just need to support our troops. And if we give trillions of dollars every year to our troops, that means that we're good people, even if it bankrupts us, which is what we all believed in the 1980s. Most of you are too young to remember that, but I remember that. The movie Rocky IV, where he's fighting against Drago, part of the reason it was so successful, I mean, not only is it it wasn't just America versus Russia. It's like they had to pound that into your head. And that was reflective of what we thought and believed in the 1980s, that basically everyone in America is pure, good, saintly, and salt of the earth, and every Russian was evil because they were Russian, and they were all communists, and they're all evil. But she hasn't gotten out of that perspective. She's still living there. She's still living in that world. And it's crazy. It's crazy that she's living there and that people think that she's a healthy voice for direction in the 2020s. I mean, come on. She's literally 40 years out of date. But that's what the Uniparty wants her to sell. And even the term Uniparty is reflective of America waking up to the crap politics that have been shoved down our throats, to the lies that have been shoved down our throats, that this is not about Democrat versus Republican. This is about wealthy Washingtonians and those who enable them and suck from their teat, and corporations who basically feed them and control them like they're puppets, and against basic American values, foundational values. More and more control, levels of control under the auspices of this is to keep you safe. This is to protect you. This is for your own good. It's for the greater good. It's like people don't even realize how eerie it is when we hear terms about for the greater good. Term for the greater good. I mean, that's like basically that's both Stalin and Adolf were constantly talking about for the greater good. Everything's always for the greater good. That's where fascists always come in, for the greater good. I want to be clear about this. We have absolutely no clue what real fascism is. What you consider fascistic when someone's social media account gets taken down or someone is forced to get a vax or whatever like that, this is not even close to actual fascism. What it is it's got the odor of fascism, but this is not fascism. This is not communism. This is not authoritarianism in the way that peoples have experienced that for great periods of time under far more direct and hostile regimes.
Because if the worst should happen tomorrow, the world is going to need you to build a better day after.
The panel's interim report stems from testimony from former FBI officials last year, alleging Bank of America had given the FBI a list of customers who used a BOA credit or debit card between January 5th and 7th, 2021 in D.C., and that information sharing included a list of those who had ever used a BOA bank card to buy a gun, including purchases at stores like Cabela's, Dick's Sporting Goods, and Bass Pro Shop. One former FBI agent, Stephen Jensen, testified BOA provided customer transactions of their own volition and said he acted to pull the information from FBI systems because it lacked allegations of federal criminal conduct and out of concern about its origin. House Judiciary Chair Jim Jordan reacted by sending subpoenas to Bank of America and 6 other big U.S. banks. Investigating committees now have over 1,000 pages of documents that show after January 6th, federal law enforcement officials from the Treasury Department's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network and the FBI kicked off multiple discussions with banks. Some meetings were held on Zoom. Meeting participants included Barclays, JP Morgan Chase, US Bank, Charles Schwab, HSBC, BOA, PayPal, and Wells Fargo, among others. One meeting had a stated goal of identifying the best approach to information sharing, both strategic and operational. At least 5 other Zoom meetings were set up with Capitol riots as the subject. Subpoenaed records also show information was shared through a web portal by law enforcement and private institutions. One FBI intelligence report alerted banks of individuals it profiled as domestic violent extremists, or DVEs. Americans who expressed opposition to gun control, the border crisis, 2020 election results, COVID-19 lockdowns and vaccines, and the deep state were labeled potential DVEs. One report suggested banks filter Zelle payments using keywords like MAGA and Trump, and warned buying books including religious texts and subscriptions to other media containing extremist views could be evidence of homegrown violent extremism. The investigating panel says questions remain and stated it's committed to learning how the shared information was acted upon, as well as the extent of ongoing financial surveillance. Jeremy Sandberg, NTD News.
My fellow Americans, here's the simple truth. Look at the chaos.
Big financial black swan event.
You're saying March 15th, a financial, that's just in a few days.